When we think about marriage and the connection between friends in marriage, it's often thought of that marriage is like a puzzle, and if we just get the correct pieces together in the correct order, the picture of a good marriage will reveal itself. When it's looked at this way, it's important to see what the pieces are. Often people will meet at a party and they think that marriage is a party from then on, and indeed there are good times in marriage. Commitment is also very important, and commitment can get you through some rough times, and it's important to really be committed to the marriage and be committed to each other. What about the idea of fulfillment? Is this a picture of your spouse completes you, or you complete your spouse? How does that fulfillment piece fit into the marriage? Who has what role? There is a broom, there's a fork, there's a wrench. What role does each spouse have in the relationship? Emotionally, for provisions, that type of thing. What about communication? You can always improve communication. How is the communication between you and your spouse? Family. What does your family bring to the marriage? That is, how does the family that you grew up in impact your relationship with your spouse? The idea of the throne room. Who's in charge of the little things, from squeezing the toilet paper or the toothpaste to the toilet paper roll going inside or outside, to bigger decisions in terms of vacations or career choices, or where to send your kids to school? How are those decisions made? Together, or does one person get to make those decisions? The idea of children, very important, but how you raise your children, how much time they have for certain activities, and are you your children's friend or mentor, or how those different roles play out. What about sexual intimacy? Certainly very important to have the physical component of marriage, and yet there are often struggles around sexual intimacy. Things in the past, desires, longings for sort of the current situation, where you'd rather be in the future. Also God, what's that spiritual piece, that spiritual component? Where is God? How are the two of you connected spiritually, and how are you growing closer to Him? What about your past? What are some of the cobwebs in your past, and the skeletons in the closet, so to speak, things that really come out in your marriage, things that you don't talk about in your friendship? Oh, and this last piece here, money. Definitely important. In this economy, the idea that money is going out of the chimney certainly rings true. It's going out of the chimney faster than we're putting it into the fireplace, it seems. And who saves, who spends, whose hobby gets priority, who works? Those types of questions are important. And it seems like for many that if we just put the right pieces in order, a picture of our relationship will emerge. And yet, if that's all it takes, why is it that so many marriages are hurting, so many marriages are struggling, and so many marriages end in divorce? Well, maybe it's because God is a piece of the puzzle and not the picture of the puzzle. Maybe when you get into marriage, you think of marriage as not a 12-piece puzzle, something that any child can do, but a 5,000-piece puzzle. And a 5,000-piece puzzle takes the box top, it takes the cover, the picture of the puzzle, really to understand what that marriage should be, could look like. Especially when you have Satan in the mix, who's grabbing pieces and hiding them off under the couch and trying to obscure the picture of the puzzle. So when we think of connections with our friend, it's important to start with God's Word and to see that picture of the connection. That is what is most important when we want to have a good marriage. Not lining up the pieces, but starting with the picture.